I never planned to say anything that night. I walked into that restaurant with one goal only: get through my shift, collect my tips, go home, and keep my life from falling apart for one more day. But sometimes, whether you're ready or not, someone pushes you into a moment where staying quiet costs more than speaking up. And yeah. That night, a man with more money than manners learned that lesson the hard way. The place was called La Couronne, one of those ultra-exclusive restaurants tucked into downtown Chicago where the lighting is soft enough to make everyone look important, and the menu doesn't list prices because if you have to ask, you probably don't belong there. I'd been working there for almost 3 years, long enough to know how to move through the room without drawing attention, how to smile just enough, how to disappear while standing right in front of someone. You learn that skill fast when people assume you're invisible anyway. By day, I was a grad student buried in research and deadlines trying to keep my scholarship intact. By night, I carried plates worth more than my monthly groceries. I was tired in that deep, bone-level way that doesn't go away with sleep. My dad had passed years earlier, my mom was in and out of the hospital, and every shift mattered. Every tip mattered. Every bad interaction felt like a risk I couldn't afford. That night started like any other. Soft jazz floating through the room, crystal glasses clinking conversations that sounded important even when they weren't. During my break, I sat on a milk crate in the staff hallway reading a worn copy of Seneca Latin notes scribbled in the margins. It was my quiet rebellion, my reminder that I was more than what people saw when they glanced at my uniform. Then the door opened and everything shifted. Grant Holloway walked in like the room had been waiting for him. Expensive suit, loud confidence, the kind of presence that bends managers into apologies before he even speaks. People whispered his name. Tech investor. Private jets. Headlines. He didn't check in with the host, just pointed at a table near the center of the room, one that was very clearly occupied, and within minutes that couple was being relocated with free champagne and forced smiles. Management sent me over. Of course they did. I approached with my professional voice, the one that never betrays what I'm thinking. Good evening. Welcome to La Couronne. My name's Maya. I'll be taking care of you tonight. He barely looked at me. His date laughed at something he whispered, then glanced at me like I was part of the decor. From the start, he treated me like a test he planned to fail me on purpose. The water wasn't cold enough. The menu explanation was too slow. The napkin wasn't folded correctly. Each comment landed just soft enough to be deniable, just sharp enough to sting. You know the type. People who don't want perfection, they want power. At one point, he pulled out a sleek black credit card, held it up between 2 fingers, and asked, "Do you know what this is?" I said yes. He laughed like I'd told a joke and slid it back into his wallet, then tucked the wallet into the inside pocket of his jacket hanging beside the booth. I noticed. When you grow up being underestimated, you notice everything. The wine flowed. His voice got louder, his ego even bigger. He started talking about his education, about studying abroad, about how rare it was these days to meet anyone truly cultured. Then he looked at me and smiled, slow and mean. "Watch this," he said to his date, then snapped his fingers at me. He switched languages mid-sentence, rolling his words like he was performing on a stage. Latin. Clear. Intentional. Cruel. He called me ignorant. He mocked my intelligence. He joked that servants like me existed to serve, not to understand. He laughed because he was certain I had no idea what he was saying. I understood every word. My heart slammed against my ribs. The room felt suddenly very small, very quiet. I could feel eyes on us, people pretending not to listen while listening anyway. This was the moment I'd spent my entire life preparing for without knowing it. Stay silent and survive. Or speak and risk everything. I thought about my mom. I thought about tuition. I thought about all the times I'd swallowed comments like this because I needed the job more than I needed dignity. And then I thought about something my dad used to say, that silence only protects the people who already have power. So I answered him. In Latin, calm, clear, correct. I told him that arrogance enslaves the arrogant more than any chain ever could. I corrected his grammar. I explained that language isn't a toy for humiliation, it's a tool for understanding. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't insult him. I just spoke. The effect was immediate. His smile froze. His date stopped laughing. A man at the next table lowered his fork mid-air. Someone actually laughed, short and surprised, like they couldn't help it. I even asked politely if he wanted to continue in Latin or maybe Greek or English, whatever made him more comfortable. That's when the tension broke. Soft murmurs spread through the room. A few people smiled openly now. Grant didn't smile. He stood up so fast his chair scraped loudly against the floor. His face flushed, then hardened. He reached for his jacket, paused, then announced loudly that his credit card was missing. He pointed straight at me. She took it. Just like that, the story flipped. Phones came out. Whispers changed tone. Management rushed over, nervous and pale. I felt that familiar sinking feeling in my chest, the one that comes when you realize how fast people are willing to believe the worst about you. They asked me to cooperate, to let them search me, to clear things up. I knew the trap. Refuse and look guilty. Agree and lose everything you just fought for. My hands shook. I could feel tears threatening, but I swallowed them down. I wasn't going to cry in front of him, not for him. Then a calm voice cut through the noise. I believe I can clarify this. An older woman stood up from a corner table. Elegant, steady, the kind of presence that doesn't need volume to command attention. She introduced herself as Professor Elaine Whitmore, retired linguistics chair at Northwestern. She said she'd been watching all night. She described in precise detail when Grant removed his wallet, where he put it, and how no one but him had touched that jacket. She pointed to the hook. Management retrieved the wallet. The card was exactly where she said it would be. Silence. Phones turned toward Grant now. His date stepped back like she'd just realized she was standing next to something dangerous. Someone near the bar whispered his name like it was already a headline. Grant tried to argue, tried to deflect, tried to laugh it off. It didn't work. He grabbed his jacket and stormed out. Shoulders hunched dignity, leaking with every step. People clapped. Real clapping. I stood there shaking relief flooding through me so fast it made me dizzy. Management apologized. Professor Whitmore spoke to me quietly, offered me a paid research position, asked why I'd never said anything about struggling. Later, I walked out into the cold night air with my book under my arm. My phone buzzing with a message from the hospital saying my mom was stable. The city moved on like nothing had happened, but everything had changed for me. That man tried to use language to humiliate me. Instead, it exposed him. So here's what I want to know. Was I right to speak up knowing the risk? Or should I have stayed silent and protected myself? How many times have you seen something like this happen quietly without a witness willing to stand up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Argue with me. Share your story. Because these moments don't disappear when we ignore them. They just wait for the next person to be tested.